As I've gotten older, I've noticed more aches and pains, and now I've got to watch my numbers, like cholesterol, blood sugar, blood pressure, all of them. It's my health, so I've got to take ownership, and that means being active with my health. If you're being active with your health, you're being present. You're talking with your doctor, you're doing the work to understand your meds and your care. That was something that I had to learn how to do. When I was younger, I would just go to the doctor's office and sit there. I would not ask questions, I would not take time to learn what was going on. You can't do that as you get older, and that's what I've been working on. I know my body and I know when I'm feeling off. I do not ignore that anymore. So when I started having stomach problems, I made an appointment to get that checked out. This is where I started making big changes. I used to go in unprepared, no list of questions, no list of meds, not even a good description of my problem. I wasn't getting the most out of my doctor's visits, which means I wasn't getting the most out of my health. Now I engage with my doctor. I made a list of everything. My meds, my medical history, my family history, and a detailed description of my symptoms. I even researched things. I found reliable and trusted sources on the internet. That helped me come up with important questions to ask. When I got to the appointment, I had an actual conversation with the doctor. I went over all the lists. Symptoms, history, lifestyle, meds, everything. I gave them a full picture. I asked about everything I did not understand. I asked about the test and the blood work they were running. I asked about how they settled on their diagnosis. If I felt that my concerns were not addressed, I stood up for myself. We talked about my condition and what I can expect moving forward. Then we went over treatment options. For me, this meant talking about my meds. We discussed what they do and how to take them, how they might make me feel, and potential side effects. We went over everything in detail. If I didn't understand something, I asked. I left with a clear understanding of my condition and ways to manage my health. That plan involved prescription medications. This is something I've learned to stay on top of. I make sure that every healthcare professional I see knows exactly what medications I'm taking, and I make sure I understand what they do and how to take them. The pharmacy will give you a printout with all the information about your meds, like side effects, dosage, timing, storage, and any special instructions like if you need to eat with your dose. I always keep this with my medications. If I'm unsure about something, I've got the info right there. I also use a pill tray. If I miss doses, my meds may not work as intended, and I don't want to overdose because that could be dangerous. The pill tray helps organize my meds for the week. I fill up the tray and have everything I'm supposed to take each day. There are a few other things I do to keep everything straight. I set alarms to remind me to take my meds. I use my phone, but there are other ways. You can leave a note, use an alarm clock, or ask someone to remind you, whatever works for you. If the meds don't work to relieve my symptoms or cause complications, I contact the doctor and let them know. Those are just some of the ways that I stay on top of my health. If you think of other ways that help you, don't hesitate to work them into your routine. Just be sure to stay engaged.